Let's pop off here. So these are games that I forget what I say here, didn't enjoy from the start. I think this is the Steam score and maybe like the Steam DB score. And this isn't to say I hated these games. It's just I wasn't vibing with them right off the bat. We got Lizards Must Die, Melver Idol, Mortal Sin, Potato Man Seeks the Truth, QOP, Reventure, Spelunky Observation, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, Littlewood, Cruelty Squad, Atom RPG, Trudograd, Fallen Hero, Ravenfield, Sticky Business, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth, The Devil's Calculator, Doom, Mini Worlds, Pathless, The Pedestrian, Pikuniku, Synthetic, Wuppo, Everything. This is probably 2016. I've heard of none of these except Isaac and Doom. Yeah, it's just a bunch of random games that I found I was intrigued by. All right, next up, we've got games that fell off. Oh my gosh, we have too many to count. Jesus. Okay, wanted to enjoy but couldn't. This is kind of a ridiculous list. All right, so this is wanted to enjoy but couldn't. We got BioShock in here. I talked about it yesterday. We got Cloud Climber, Dying Light, East Shade, FTL, Life is Strange, Little Inferno, Mirror's Edge, Monaco, Undertale, For the King, Moonlighter, Vampire Survivors, Pawnbarian, Domekeeper, Against the Storm, Railbound, Brotato, 5D Chess, Error, Memories of Old, The Almost Gone, Antechamber, Darkwood, Downwell, The Final Station, Kingdom New Lands, In Other Waters, The Rewinder, Shapes, Webbed, Witchwood, Gorogoa, Limbo, Superliminal. I think I played all of Superliminal. Yeah, okay, so these are games that I didn't necessarily not play. We got Grow Home, we got High on Life, we got Inside, we got The Last Campfire, Recursed, Snakebird, Wildermyth, Luftrausers, Nuclear Throne, Star Providence, Bastion. Okay, you might want to move the camera. Oh yeah, you're so right. All right, so far, how controversial is this list? By the way, I'm no authority of game preference. Eastshade didn't deserve that, though. Did you play Eastshade? Like, yeah, where was I at with Eastshade? Perhaps I just didn't like how I was walking around everywhere. Maybe if I could speed up the walking, it would have been easier or more enjoyable for me. I don't know what. Maybe I'm just maybe I probably played that before I started Vyvanse. Life is Strange, maybe cry at the end. Yeah, I've heard great things about the Life is Strange games and story, so I think maybe it was a gameplay thing that I wasn't as into at the time. BioShock and Eastshade are probably the most controversial. Isaac and Doom are kind of grindy, so I get it. Life is Strange, yep. All right, shall we move forward? Let's see if we get any more controversial now. We've got Enjoyed Initially, Fell Off. This is Filament, The Forest, SteamWorld Dig 2, The Witcher 3, Urbo, Don't Starve, Fury, Horizon. So I want to replay Fury because I think I would enjoy it more now. Horizon Zero Dawn, Loop Hero, Line, Merchant of the Skies, Slime Rancher, Strange Horticulture, Firewatch, Grizz, Refunct, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Scanner Sombra, Stray, Titanfall 2, Dave the Diver, Deep Rock Galactic, Hogwarts Legacy, I Am Dead, Inscription, Terraria. I do want to play Inscription again. 20 Minutes Till Dawn, Despo's Game, Islanders, Mini Motorways, and Noida. I gotta at some point go deep into Noida, or Noida, however you say that. Spin Rhythm, Fallout 4, Lottlenaut. Okay, Firewatch. I remember really liking Firewatch, so I don't know why I have Firewatch in the didn't finish. Also, Firewatch is a really short game, so I could have sworn I finished it. All right, let's start at the top here. Only one I disagree with so far is Brotato. I think it's just I've seen so many different of that type of game that I was trying to be very selective of which of the top-down vampire survivor-like games I was playing. Did not give Hogwarts Legacy a break. I think I got maybe I got halfway through Hogwarts Legacy. I'm really not a fan of games where it shows you everything on the map, so then you're not actually exploring. What's the percentage aside? I didn't follow. I think I mentioned it earlier, but we'll get to the top at some point. I think this is Steam score, and this is Steam DB score, and then we've got the average of everything in these sections. So yeah, actually, is this all okay? Median? I don't know. Maybe it's not then. I think these are the averages. Oh yeah, I can see this right. Average, median. Okay, average Steam score. It's going a little bit up, 90, and then we got 91 for I was trying to see if there was like any pattern with these games. Steam recommendation percentage or something. Actually, I don't know how rating works for Steam. I'm not sure how it works either. Firewatch. Yeah, big shout out to Firewatch. Fallout 4, I do want to play at some point. I think I just was a little scared about the town management. Like, I think I like Fallout mechanic because I played Fallout 3 at some point. I don't think that's on this list because it was too long ago. But I enjoyed Fallout 3, and yeah, Fallout 4 was cool. I just didn't want to deal with the managing the base. I did not give Terraria enough of a shot. I got to play that. So all these games are really like, I haven't given it enough of a shot. I'm not saying that these games were like, you know, in any way bad. This is my A tier of non-favorite games, let's just say. If they put Stan in charge of the Game Awards, I think the categories and winners would be exactly fair, or no one would win anything. All right. Do I have an S tier of these? Oh, we do. We've got an S tier. S tier of games that are not on my... okay. Enjoyed a lot, but didn't make the faves. We got Ori and the Blind Forest. We got Abzu. We got Before Your Eyes, Cult of the Lamb, Disco Elysium, Far Lone Sails, Hidden Folks, Kingsway, Clocky, Lil Gator Game, The Messenger, Pineapple on Pizza, huge shout out, Simply Puzzles, Junctions, The Talos Principle, Toem. I still have to play The Talos Principle too. What Remains of Edith Finch, The Case of the Golden Idol, A Monster's Expedition, Stacklands, Temetsi, Dwarf Romantic, Gunfire Reborn, Shogun Showdown, Smooshy Come Home. And we can see now Steam rating, Steam DB rating, tier average. So, wow, okay, the S tier went up another percentage. We're at 92% average for these games. I felt Abzu would be here somewhere. Yeah, Abzu I thought was pretty cool. I played Flower, and that was pretty silly. Then I played, what's the other one they make? Journey. And Journey I think is in the faves tier list. You can really tell the type of man someone is by their Steam game ratings. I know the type of man you are. Okay, this is the D tier of my favorite games. I really like these games. We're starting with Manifold Garden. I don't know if anyone's seen this game, but it's a puzzle game where you essentially shift your, like, the direction you're you know, where you face, I guess. So imagine that every floor just like brings you back to the ceiling, so you can jump off the side, you fall back, but then you could also rotate the entire puzzle in such a way where then you fall a different way. And then there's also kind of crazy things like that. Yeah, so you just fall out, but then there's the puzzle as well. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed that one a lot. Definitely would recommend. All right, next. We got Shogun Showdown. This is a roguelike that has a pretty cool mechanic system. It's basically you're playing cards here, and everyone's kind of, yeah, it's turn-based. Everyone moves. Everyone tells you what they're going to do, and so it's a neat roguelike. It's a roguelite. You do improve over time, and it's a lot of fun. All right, next. Civ 6. Civ 6, yeah. I played Civ 6 for a very short period of time in general, but as you know, that's a long amount of time. It's just an addicting game. It's a ridiculous game. I don't even know if it's a good... I don't think Civ is even like a good game because it takes so long. Like, these games can go hours. Hours and hours and hours. Just like a 6-hour game. Just very much not something you can do, but it's very addicting. All right, next up. We got Return of the Obra Dinn. Another indie title where you're solving a mystery by going into these snapshots of time over... Oh, we've lost the video. You basically go into snapshots of time, and you get to look at the scene of the crime. So you get to see what everyone on the boat is doing at a certain time, and you kind of pieced it. You actually go backwards. You start at the end of the story, and you go backwards to figure out. Actually, you kind of jump around to figure out what went on in this boat. And then the whole shtick is you have to figure out how each person like might have died or whether they're still living, how they died. It's a very cool deduction game. Would recommend. All right, next up, Tiny Rogues. Now this is a fun roguelike as well. Is this even the game? I recognize this game. Do they change it? Okay, I kind of recognize it. Yeah, I remember this being a lot of fun. There was a lot of variation in the types of builds that you can get. I enjoyed this a lot. Highly recommend. Tiny Rogues is great fun. Much bigger than it seems at first. Yeah, and I think the guy keeps adding to it, so I'm sure it's even bigger than when I played it like 2 years ago. I'm still waiting on the big update for the final levels in it. Oh, wow. Maybe I should should wait for that and then come back. All right, next game, Dead Cells. Everyone knows this one. Dead Cells, roguelike, side-scrolling, kind of brutal and unforgiving in a sense, but also, you know, just good fun. Man, this one I might have played a while ago because the graphic scheme looks different than what I recognize. All right, yep, I remember this being fun. I do love roguelikes, absolutely. Something about roguelikes really get me going. Journey, from the creators of Abzu. I'm not going to spoil this game for anyone that's wants to play it, but it's a game where you go on a journey that takes about 3 or 4 hours across a bunch of really cool lands, and you kind of just fly, you kind of just float, and it's a vibe game, you know, you just kind of vibe. Fun stuff. All right, next up, where is so any of these multiplayer games aren't on this list, so no Club Penguin, no old school RuneScape. No old school RuneScape is a crime. I judge you now. I enjoyed old school RuneScape a lot, so if there was, you know, old school RuneScape you could say is a single player game if you just don't play with other friends. But I was never a member, so I did ridiculous things to make money. I think at one point I was making pizzas to make money. I just did not know anything about how I should play that game. And I don't think that the YouTube scene was that large, so either that or I just didn't know to look to YouTube as a means for educating myself. So I never really got good at old school RuneScape. I just played a bunch of it. Okay. Hex Cells Infinite. I don't know if anyone's heard of this game, but this game is like Sudoku on crack. It's a lot of fun. It's just a straight up puzzle game. Nothing too crazy, except the puzzles get quite challenging. And there's like a whole scene of user-made puzzles that are really sick. So it's a mix of like Sudoku and Minesweeper, honestly. It's like, this looks like a New York Times puzzle. Yeah, fair enough. If New York Times ran with that, they would have a good product on their hands. All right, this is my D tier. I really like these games. That's what we just did. So let's move on. Now we're going on to the C tier of my favorite games. And bolded means that I played a game in the past calendar year. Citizen Sleeper 2 and 1. I don't know how to describe this game. You roll a dice to choose. Yeah, he's rolling dice to figure out if he passes skills, and then you can go around the ship and do different things on the ship. It's a very chill game. The story's pretty neat. I think the story was neat in both of the games. I don't know. Something about this is a very unique game. Tickled me the right way. I enjoyed it. Next game. Another Crab's Treasure. This one's a little troll. This is a Souls-like game. It had no right to be this good, but it's basically a Souls-like game where you've got a dodge and you've got a parry and you are fighting crabs. And like the combat was actually incredible, and the maps I thought were pretty neat. And yeah, just a very silly game with great execution. So would recommend if you're into Souls-like games. Oh, this is good. Have you played this? Unique idea with the setting. All right, next game. Slay the Spire. Everyone knows it. Another roguelike. Deck builder. Very addicting. Yeah, you're just fighting enemies. I knew this would be on there. You know, there's probably games that I'm missing, or like games that I haven't played yet. So if anyone's got recommendations once we get to the end of this thing. All right, we got The Witness. If it hasn't been clear, I'm also into puzzle games, especially these types of puzzle games where it's like an information type puzzle game. It's like a Knowledgevania type puzzle game where you just kind of learn stuff as you go. This one's kind of in between where there's a bunch of like puzzles that you do locally, but then there's larger scale puzzles, and you're also unlocking more stuff. Yeah, this game was kind of cracked. Kind of insane, honestly. I don't know if you've seen The Looker, but that was like a spoof on this game. All right, next up, Astroneer. This is kind of cheating because it is kind of a co-op game, but Astroneer is a ton of fun. It's just a survival game. You're trying to build up a base, explore, get resources. Can we get actual gameplay here? The cool thing is like you always have to keep oxygen, so you can have like oxygen on your person, but you could also be like tethered to these little like oxygen tethers. Man, none of these pictures show you what it actually looks like to play the game, except for maybe like this one. Damn, he got moves. Yeah, these guys do have moves. You can get like jetpacks and stuff. You could get cars, whatnot. It's a fun game. There's a little automation. They added some automation here. A lot of different crazy things you could do with this game. Would recommend. Good fun. Definitely for if you've got a crew of friends that enjoy survival games, would definitely recommend that one. Enter the Gungeon, another roguelike. Is there an Enter the Gungeon 2? Oh my gosh. When did this come out? Oh no, it's not out. Okay. Still to be announced. All right. Enter the Gungeon. This is a unforgiving roguelike that just has great combat mechanics. You get your dodge, a ton of different guns you can get, different abilities, different ways to play. It's a little bit knowledge gated. Like there's just things that if you knew information about the game, you'd be able to get easier runs. And some of that information is very difficult to figure out on yourself. So I kind of, if I'm going to give it any negative points on it would just be on that. But oh my gosh. Yeah, just a lot of cool things in this game. Very fun. Next. Oh, this was all my C tier. This is the I like these games even more than I really like these games. All right, we're on to the B tier. We got Neon White. Neon White is like a parkour shooting game with a, I don't know. I don't even know how you explain this. You've got cards that determine what you do with your click. So it's like these cards are guns essentially. And you're playing for time, but you have to kill all the mobs on the way to actually getting to the end of the level. And yeah, you could use these cards to kill the enemies in different ways that might be quicker. You could play it just parkour, but you could also play for time, and that's a ton of fun. Some of these rounds require you do it in a certain amount of time, and then it's also like a relationship game on the side, which some of the stories were pretty neat, but I was there for that parkour. I was a big fan of Minecraft parkour. Did that a lot. All right, next up. Unfortunately, also Minecraft's not on this list, but Minecraft would be an S tier game for sure for me. I've played Minecraft in like many different ways. I played just single player Minecraft, then multiplayer on like the normal Minecraft mode. Then I played modded Minecraft, and then I played a ton of multiplayer Minecraft. Then I owned a Minecraft server and had a bunch of people on there, which kind of was neat for a little while. Then after that, I just played even more. It was a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff for Minecraft. Animal Well, newer game. This is a Metroidvania / Knowledgevania. Big Mode, Video Game Donkeys studio. This game is really neat. You're just constantly exploring and also figuring things out and gaining items that allow you to do things that it doesn't tell you about. Yeah, just cool stuff here. All right, next game. Death's Door. Death's Door, one of the best things about this game is its music. I don't know what the type of game is actually. What would you say? It's kind of Souls-like. It's not really Souls-like. You're basically a little bird, and you kill things with your sword. And the fighting, this game is not too difficult, but the fighting is very, very crisp. Like it's the mechanics here are really great. Feels good. The map's cool. It's a little easy to get lost in these maps, though. That's the one downside. Boss fights were fun. Abilities were cool, and the music was great. Very fun game. All right, next up. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Okay, so I didn't have this in my A tier, actually. I had this in the B tier of my favorite games, which means I do like this game a lot. So this was the first JRPG game I've ever played. I think the reason why it wasn't as compelling for me is, in terms of not being an S tier game, is mainly just like gameplay mechanics. I thought this story was incredible. I think the music is incredible, like top tier. I think I just prefer in these types of games to have more exploration rather than like a very constrained exploration that this game has. And then in terms of fighting mechanics, I did enjoy it though. With the parry mechanic, it made fights either very easy or like very monotonous in a way. Like you just had to parry everything and then you just slowly chip down at health. But this game is really cool. This is a cool game. Would recommend Clair Obscur. Definitely deserves the recognition that it got. Just insane. That's really cool stuff. Okay. I was excited for it with so many friend recommendations. I stopped after Act 1. It was so boring. Fair enough. Yeah, like I can understand why the gameplay might not like capture you. First of all, because I have never played JRPGs, I don't know how this game like stacks up, but I think people say this is like a great JRPG on its own right. But yeah, to each their own. I do think if you ever get the opportunity to take in this story, to finish the story in any avenue, whether that is literally just watch cutscenes on YouTube or if it's watching the movie when it comes out, I would highly recommend you do that without necessarily playing the game. All right, next one, Blasphemous 1 and 2. I'm putting them together because I think I rate them similarly, except Blasphemous 2 is definitely the better game. I wouldn't recommend Blasphemous 1 now that Blasphemous 2 exists. This is a Metroidvania Souls-like, probably my favorite one besides Hollow Knight. These games are nuts, just pretty neat stuff. Not as crisp, I would say, but cool graphics, cool gameplay, a lot going on, a lot of cool additions. Yeah, would recommend. Blasphemous 1 and 2. All right, Chants of Sennaar. This game is kind of sick. So this is like a puzzle game where this is another like information type puzzle game where people talk to you in these symbols and you have to figure out what they're saying. So you have to consider like what context they're saying these symbols in, and then you have to put words to those symbols. And the way it works is like first you can write in what you think, and when you write in what you think, now you see that word whenever you see the symbol. So it like replaces the symbol with what you think it is. And then it gives you an opportunity to like actually write down what you think it means. And if you get it right, then it's kind of set there. It tells you you've earned that spot in your notebook or whatever. But yeah, this game is really, really cool. Yeah, and there's different languages too. And at one point the game makes you translate language to language, which is really wild. Where this is where like you've already figured out that this means seek, want, and so now whenever someone uses this symbol in speech, you could see what that means. I haven't seen anything like it, so definitely would recommend. Dark Souls 3. Everyone's heard of this one. I'm all about these Souls-like games. I haven't played enough of them yet, but I would replay this game if it wasn't for Elden Ring. Like, to me, I thought this was just like an easier Elden Ring in a sense. I mean, it's not similar to Elden Ring in the scope and the exploration aspect, but in terms of just like the strict Souls-like aspect, it's just good fun. Good fun, nothing too crazy. Stan's top 10 gaming categories: roguelikes, puzzle games, Souls-like, Metroidvania. Absolutely, those are the top gaming categories. Let's see if it's just that for the rest of this. Valheim. Okay, we got to put survival game on that list because there are some survival games that are absolutely there in my heart. I don't know if anyone's played Valheim, but this game, I kid you not, was like 2 gigabytes when we played it. This is a 2 gigabyte game. We would talk about other games like Warzone as in how many Valheims it was. Like Warzone was 50 Valheims or something like that. But Valheim is just a great survival game. Just fun. I don't know what's going on here. This is the new update. This is wild stuff. Valheim is also punishing, by the way. It's like you've got Souls-like mechanics for combat, and then you've got like the survival game mechanics. Oh, and then you got these cool looking trolls like this. Just absolutely terrifying. This is a game where if you go into a biome or a part of the world that is above your level, you will die. Something is going to one-shot you. It could be a wasp. It could be a wolf. It could be a wasp. It could be a skeleton. Like, these things will one-shot you if you don't have the armor for it. All right, next one. Ori and the Will of Wisps. You've guessed it, Metroidvania. This game is just beautiful. Yeah, there's not as much combat as like Hollow Knight. Like, a lot of it is like traversal, and I mean, they do have these sequences where you do have to get things right. Yeah, it's just a neat, cool-looking Metroidvania with pretty crisp mechanics and movement. And I thought it was a significant improvement over Blind Forest, which was in the top of my other games. This studio's working on the No Rest for the Wicked game, which is a completely different type of game, almost like a co-op Souls-like story game that I'm looking forward to. But I don't think they're anywhere near 1.0. It's still early access, so I'm gonna stay away. All right, next up. Oh, never mind. That was it. We got B. B tier is just I like the games even more. All right, A tier, Subnautica Below Zero. Survival game. So I might I'm probably missing like huge categories of game, like huge genres that I just haven't gotten into yet. But this is just like the other Subnautica, except it looks better, and people believe the map is slightly worse. So take that what you will. You get quality of life upgrades, but you get a worse type of feel in the game. That being said, I enjoyed this one a good bit. If you have thalassophobia, this game might be a little tough. You can make it easier by getting mods. Yeah, cool stuff. The studio might be working on another Subnautica, but there's also been a lot of drama with that studio, and they don't seem to be well liked right now. So we'll see what happens. All right, next up we got Tunic. Tunic is like the best of everything right now. It's a Souls-like knowledgevania. So Tunic doesn't tell you anything. It just gives you find pages of the instruction booklet of the game that gives you like information such as the map or how to even use your buttons. So it's this really interesting type of vibe where you're kind of figuring out the game. But then you find out that this game is also a puzzle game, and that there are puzzles like hidden in the world that like late game you're able to do stuff with. And not only late game, but if you were to play the game again, you would be able to use those puzzles earlier on to get items before you would otherwise be able to get them. So it actually makes replaying the game significantly different. That being said, I haven't replayed the game yet, but I think I eventually will. And it's also kind of wild. So sometimes in this game, you literally just go into an area and you're like, whoa, I didn't know if we were doing this type of theme. I didn't know we were getting this dark. All right, we got Red Dead Redemption 2. Everyone knows this game. This is just Rockstar creating a really beautiful world, great story building, etc. Yeah. GTA 5 was before the cutoff, so even though GTA 5 like should be on a list like this, it's not on this because it was longer than whatever I said 8 years ago or whatnot. I honestly wasn't expecting Red Dead. Yeah, I really enjoyed Red Dead. I like these types of story games, but it's exploration. You know, any type of this exploration type game, I'm gonna really dig, especially the way Rockstar does it, where you really don't know anything about an area until you get there. I think other than like maybe a marker on the map that tells you should just go to this location. But yeah, pretty cool. Mechanics were great. I thought people, I guess, find it a little bit monotonous after a while. Story was great. This is a very immersive game. Okay, next up, we got Stardew Valley. This is, I think, the only farming game we've got on the list, but Stardew Valley is an absolute gem. The developer, I think solo developer, is still working on this game to this day, so that's kind of goated. It's just, start from nothing. You build up your farm, you go into town, you talk to people, you sell your crops. It's just a very chill game, very addicting. It's another game where you just want to, it's one of those one more day type games. I'll just play it, you know. The way it works is you wake up and you do the day and then you go to bed and you kind of save at the sleeping point. So, you know, in your mind, you can chunk it off as like, okay, we'll just do 2 more days and then I'll get off. A lot of stuff going on here. We got fishing, mining, we got a little horse, we got, I forget what else is in this game. Cooking, maybe. Just a lot of stuff. I mean, the combat's not like phenomenal, but it was still like a cool addition. Then like the game has like a calendar system, so there's actually events on certain days, so you could go into town and there's like a fair going on. You can romance in this game, you can get married in this game. It's kind of wild. Animal Crossing for people from the Midwest. I actually haven't played an Animal Crossing game, but I would probably really enjoy an Animal Crossing game. You know what's a wild game that I enjoyed that might be unexpected, but this was like over 2 decades ago, perhaps. Maybe this was just 2 decades ago. Is Nintendogs. Nintendogs was kind of goated. I thought that game was so much fun. I can't believe no one's made a newer or better version of Nintendogs. Like, it just seems like it would be an easy thing to do. Those games were so old, right? But yeah, I thought that was fun. I thought that was a lot of fun. The Portal series. This is Portal 1, Portal 2, and Portal Reloaded. So this is an instance where I did play a mod. If you haven't played Portal Reloaded and you've played 1 and 2, I would highly recommend Portal Reloaded. It incorporates a third portal gun that deals with time. So you can actually, I'll just go to it. Portal Reloaded. So is this going to be like an update, or is this going to be the actual? Yeah, like this third portal is a portal that goes back in like time 10 years. So some of these puzzles you kind of have to see what the area looks like 10 years ago, or 10 years after. I forget which one's disheveled. One of them's usually disheveled, but then you have to shoot into the time. Yeah, like this game was insane, but very cool. Oh yeah, I don't think I have it in me to play another Portal game. This stuff is so demanding, cognitively, and just a ton of levels too. The cooperative update. Oh my gosh, I don't think any of my friends would want to get deep into that type of thing. Great game. Portal 1 is great, just short. Portal 2 is great and the right length. It's, these are just phenomenal games. All right, Hades 2. We played this not too long ago. I thought everything about Hades 2 was better than Hades 1 except for the story, unfortunately. But I actually haven't finished it, so perhaps it'll get even. Actually, I've gotten to the credits, but I haven't finished all the content. So I do want to get back to playing this at some point because the mechanics are just phenomenal. This game is okay. We're not going to get any gameplay. I don't know if anyone's played Hades 1 here, but this stuff is just nuts. It's just crack. Roguelike crack or roguelite crack. I watched you play this. I was there. Hell yeah. Battle down to hell. Battle up to the heavens. Great game. Fun stuff. Game of the Year nominee. Did it win anything? It might not have won anything, actually. If anything, it would have been like fighting or something like that. I don't know, action game. I watched Onion watching you. Very nice. Was kind of wondering where you were going to put this. Yeah, I put it in the A tier because I just think that this type of game for me is just so fun. I would if they were to make up Hades 3, I would love it. All right, next up we got Balatro. Balatro, I hold dear in my heart. This game is nuts. If we want to ever play Balatro on stream, I can rip. I don't know if you guys have played. This game is actually crack. This game is the most addicting game I think I've ever played. It's unbelievable how addicting this game is, to the point where I'm concerned that it exists. Yeah, this is just a really unique roguelike. So yeah, games like this make me feel like roguelikes are not dead, and that they are still quite alive and well, and people are still coming up with new ways to do roguelikes, and yeah, just great stuff. Thank you for telling me, Stan. Now I won't play it. Yeah, I honestly don't know whether I should recommend this game to anyone because it will ruin their life. It will suck away hours from you. That being said, if you're ever on a plane and you want to time travel 8 hours, 7 hours, however long 4 hours, however long your flight is, if you want to time travel to the end of the flight, you just get this game and you're golden. I played it and was done with it after 40 hours. Fair enough. Yeah, what do you think was the thing that got you got you to end at one point? Solid amount of time though for cheat. Yeah, it's the take home on that is amazing. All right, I could glaze Balatro all day. So let's move on. Baldur's Gate 3. What does this count as? RPG choices. Okay. Everyone knows Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate's just wild. It's nutty. Voice acting for literally everything, every decision, different branching decision trees. Great story for a bunch of characters. You can't even do everything that the game has to offer in one run. It's that huge, and one run is 100 hours. So it's just incredible, and it's D&D mechanics, which are cool. Would recommend this one as well if you've got that much time on your hands. It is a long game. All right, next up, Celeste. Now this is a game that I don't think I have another game like it in the list. A precision platformer. Celeste is actually, people have seen the Celeste. Okay, I've actually demoted Celeste from S tier, I think. So I made the Celeste board before I did that. So I got to make more boards, honestly, more canvases. But Celeste is just a fun game, a very hard, fun game that has a really interesting story that covers topics of depression and anxiety, which is kind of wild. It's been a while since I played it, but I remember enjoying it a ton. All right. Oh, this is where we get to the real games. Oxygen not included. This game is insane. Okay, no, let's not do a mod. Let's do. I don't even know how to describe this game. This game is a it's a survival game, but it's also a sandbox. You have these people do your bidding essentially for their own good. You need to make sure that they build like beds and stuff, or else they'll just die. You need to make sure they build the stuff that allows them to eat, or else they'll just die. But what's going on here is like, okay, so first of all, there's oxygen here. Like you could see these little specks. This is telling us that we've got oxygen, but then there's different gases. And, they can't breathe in the different gases. And also the different gases have different properties, and they allow you to do different things. So you can pipe different gases into you could do HVAC, you do water piping. So there's a layer, like, there's a 2D layer for each of these things. There's a layer for wiring. Every single material has a weight, has a mass, has properties, has heat conductivity. This game is ridiculous. Yeah, that's the other thing. You're dealing with heat as well, so you have to get like insulation, and you just build your base. It is crazy. Yep, there's the electricity. So this game takes a long time though. There's farming. So I guess this is another farming game, just not quite in the same vein. You build machines, you can build stuff to cook. Yeah, you can get your guys to wear these suits so that they don't die when they're in places without oxygen. You create incredibly complex circuitry, both in, the people can get sick, so you have to get, you can get up to the top, you can get to space in order to research new stuff. This game is, and then you build a rocket, and that's how you kind of win, in a sense. So that's the entire game. This game is crazy, though. Just insane. Like this can suck away like a ton of your life in like total. Like, yeah, I don't even know how to describe this game. It's just that I don't know if I want to play this game again because it's just so in depth. So yeah, these are all the different overlays. You've got the electricity overlay. You've got a heat overlay, so you could see if your base is too hot. You have to deal with like ventilation in such a way that your base doesn't get too hot. You have to deal with, when you're dealing with liquids, the liquids have heat. So at every second, like it's like a sandbox game where like at every second, everything that's on the same square is like distributing heat with each other. And then also, depending on what it is and how much heat it can carry or however much heat it can carry, like the heat dissipates, and so does the gas. The gas can move. Water will fall. I forget what this guy's doing. Maybe that's automation. Then you've got lighting. Yeah, you have to deal with lighting. You have to make sure that the people can see. That's what this guy is, a little light bulb. Then you got water, liquids, you got gases, you got plants. Just an insane game. Oxygen not included. It's kind of like RimWorld, where you're giving people tasks. You're telling them like what types of tasks they should be doing at what priority levels, so that when something comes up, that someone can deal with it. I don't think I'm ever going to get into RimWorld, just because that seems like another game where you can go down a rabbit hole. All right, next up. Oh, never mind. That's the end of the A tier. So we're getting to the S tier. We got Subnautica the First. This game was kind of wild because it doesn't tell you anything, and you just kind of have to figure it out. And it's scary, and you have to go into the depths. And there's a cool story that's going on. You find out that there's like aliens involved, and it's just nutty. And you get real deep in this game. And it's also scary. Yeah, these games are horror as well. Like there's some scary fish down there that I think I made a point to go and kill once I figured out how. All right, a short hike. We see this behind me right now. This is like a 4-hour game where you're just this little bird. And you fly around. This is kind of like, imagine like literally Breath of the Wild mechanics, where you can climb up things and you can fly, and it's a very cute game. Just good fun and just really well made. And it's got a great ending. And when you soar like that, you just feel amazing. Maybe I should play this one again. Maybe there's a mod for this game. Maybe someone's made new content. That's worth checking out at some point. All right, next one. We got Sekiro. I need to make a canvas for Sekiro. This is another FromSoft game. This combat is clean and difficult. You have to parry. You cannot play this game without parrying. It's a parry-centric game. So it's similar to Dark Souls in like the traversal of the map, but the mechanics of the combat are significantly different in how you're supposed to succeed, or how you can effectively succeed. But once it clicks, it feels really great. You get to have a lot of fun just holding your own against these enemies. If you're into difficult games, doing this. Next up, we got Hollow Knight. We all know Hollow Knight, or at least I've talked about Hollow Knight a bunch. Classic Metroidvania. Until earlier this year, or earlier last year, this was my favorite Metroidvania that existed. Just very cool stuff. It doesn't tell you anything, right? You just kind of learn as you go. Yeah, fun stuff. And apparently it was relatively easy compared to its sequel. All right, we got Hades 1, very similar to Hades 2, except missing some of the quality life upgrades, and the combat is still very clean, but it's not quite as clean as 2, I'd say. And the thing about this game, though, is the story is just amazing, while still having like phenomenal everything else, phenomenal combat, phenomenal music, and phenomenal roguelike mechanics. So we don't have to go too deep into that. Hollow Knight Silk Song. We played this one. Just amazing. Very happy about this. Very happy about this whole thing. At some point, I'll make the video. I still have the video, my playthrough streams downloaded. So at some point, I'll compile a nice playthrough. Maybe whenever I want to relive the game without actually having to play it again, maybe I'll do that. I'll just watch myself play while editing, and then hopefully, make the supercut worth watching. Silk Song isn't that hard. You just have to take breaks. That's not what we did. There was no breaks happening with my playing. The difficult enjoyer, number one break taker, should really take a break and come back to it later. Maybe if you took a break. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of just telling someone to take a break if a game's too hard. Usually it's like information would make the game easier. For a Dark Souls game, usually there's just like some hidden item that's going to make the game like significantly easier for you. The way that I was playing Silk Song was informed by how I messed up in Hollow Knight in terms of map traversal and stuff. So we did like a nice breadth first search in Silk Song. So that allowed me to have as much as I could possibly have for almost any. That's actually not the case, but for like going into a new area. So like I felt well equipped all the time. Stan is a professional, so he made it enjoyable. Hell yeah. Yeah, there were a few fights where like it took a little while for me to get past, but I felt like there wasn't anything that really slowed down the game. So it felt like we were always doing something. It felt like the game always had something cool to offer around the corner. I played a lot better. I think I was playing like straight up all day, if I recall. Yeah, some games like I will literally take off work for, and I was doing something that weekend that game came out, but I would have taken off just to play that game. All right, Breath of the Wild. Oh, I can't even get a Steam Breath of the Wild. It's also behind me. Yep. So this game was a lot about exploration and traversal. This was a big traversal type game. The story, of course, is like slightly lacking because it's a Zelda game, but that doesn't matter because it's just a lot of cool content, and it was beautiful, and it's like a sandbox world, and it's I don't know, it's everything. Music's great. Buy it now. Oh, that's an ad. Okay, then we've got Outer Wilds. I think we're down to the top three games. Outer Wilds. If you haven't seen this game, I'm actually not going to spoil it, but this is like a information type game, a puzzle game. That you're not dealing with like local puzzles, but you're figuring out what happened in this solar system. So you fly your ship around, and you just kind of figure out what's going on, and it leads you to places where you want to learn new information, and it is incredible. And this is including DLC. The DLC was amazing as well. These games are just absolutely insane. This I don't even know what I don't know how to even describe how cool the story is in this game, and how it's honestly better than Christopher Nolan type time stuff. Like this game has a really cool premise and a really cool underlying story, let's just say. It's all about exploration and figuring things out. All right, Tears of the Kingdom. We've got the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I just felt like a kid playing this game. I know it's like pretty much the same map except for the extra content in the new areas. But I just can't get enough of this type of game. This is insane. Like all of the mechanics in this game were I thought were significantly more fun than in Breath of the Wild, given that you can build almost anything and just you could just drive around in whatever you built. Yeah, this one's less about traversal though, because you can get so high up in the air. Like this game is like, it's honestly just a playground on the previous game. Like in Breath of the Wild, it was pretty difficult to go from A to B, but in this game you can just go up into the sky, then fall down. It's nuts. The story was a little better here than in Breath of the Wild, I thought. I liked the story a little more, I should say. Like there was more intrigue, I thought. All right, number one game, Elden Ring. Yeah, Elden Ring's just a powerhouse. Elden Ring, phenomenal. Shadow of the Erdtree, phenomenal. Night Rain, phenomenal. I could eat this stuff up for... if they made like another Elden Ring, I would just play it. It could literally be the same mechanics, same visuals. It would just be fun. How long did it take me to beat Elden Ring? I think maybe 120 hours or so. And then I played it multiple times though at this point. And then I played it with some mods, or I played it with Reforged, the mod. But it is definitely... I mean, this type of game is like candy for me. Where so this also, like, very few games make me feel like a kid when playing it, and I think these two games have done that. In my adult life, I've felt like a child playing Elden Ring and Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, if you're into that type of exploration where there's just something interesting almost everywhere, then I would recommend this. Also, it's just satisfying to build your character and get better at things and to beat these fights. And like with Elden Ring, unlike, you know, Dark Souls games or Sekiro, like you can really become overpowered by just, you know, putting in the work to grind. The grinding it doesn't feel like grinding because you're fighting things. Like you literally just have to explore and you'll be well equipped for anything that's to come. Like a breadth first strategy really helps you out in Elden Ring. All right, now that we've hit the end. That was the S tier. Wait, do we see... oh, here we go. Tier average. So S tier average, 95%. A tier, 94%. We don't have one for the B tier, I guess. C tier, 93. And then D tier, 91. So it's you know, there is somewhat of a correlation between my favorite games. Oh, actually, what's going on here? Why do we have D14? Oh, maybe these are out of... No, this is right. D14 to what? D23? Yeah, no, that's right. I don't know why it's here, though. Maybe because I probably moved this. And then this year, we're starting off strong. I've been playing the game Blueprints, which was a Game of the Year nomination, and this is a puzzle roguelike. So, of course, this is perfect for me, and it's been an absolute hoot, and it's going straight to the tier list. Where would I put it? I'm putting it above these guys. It's probably going in the B tier. It's somewhere around here. That's where I'm putting it somewhere. Maybe probably above Clair Obscur. That's what I'm doing. I'll do it right now. Blueprints. I think now, actually, you know what? Now that we've come to an end, what are any recommendations that I haven't played yet, that I haven't seen or played between all these games?